I have 10 brand new map ideas I want to share with you guys that I hope inspire Ubisoft for some new maps here in 2021. Now, with 2020 coming to a close and no new maps being added to Siege since all the way back to the map Outback in Operation Burnt Horizon, I think it's seriously time to get a new fresh map added to Siege in 2021. Now, while reworks are nice and usually are more competitive due to small tweaks here and there to make them really well balanced, new maps make for some fresh new gameplay experiences that we all need here in Siege. Now, that's why I have 10 new map ideas me and my friends came up with, and we're gonna share them with you guys today. Now, with all that out of the way, let's start off with one of my favorites, and I think this one could be pretty realistic. The map here is called White House. Now, obviously this is going to be based off the White House here in the United States, but I don't think the entire White House will be able to be used because it is pretty big, and again, you only have 3 minutes in ranked matches to, get all the way from outside to the bomb site, plant the bomb and all that. So these maps can't be really big. So parts of the White House will have to be sanctioned off to where you can't get in, or like, I don't know, maybe they're on fire or something super cool like that to where the operators can't get in there. You can't rotate in. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the attackers can spawn on the lawn or really anywhere around the White House, or they could choose to spawn on the roof via rappelling down from helicopters. I think that would be really sick. And we already kind of got a mechanic like that in the Road to SI Stadium map where you could rappel from the roof. And I think everyone loved doing that because it was new, fresh, and fun. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. So I think the attackers rappelling down onto the roof from helicopters would be pretty cool. Now, they would have to enter the map through like, windows and doorways, but they will not be able to enter through the Oval Office windows because these windows are bulletproof, and I'm gonna make them resistant to soft breaching, hard breaching. You will not be able to access these Oval Office windows. Now, throughout the map, there's gonna be like American history, like literature or statues or like works of art scattered throughout the map, whether on the walls or the floor. There's gonna be a lot of cool things resembling to America's history, but there will be a massive statue of Warden in the middle of the map because Warden is actually one of the closest people behind the president at all times. I think he deserves some recognition for all his hard work, so we're gonna put a big statue of Warden in the middle of the new map, White House. Coming up next is going to be the map Airport. Now, as I was literally filming this video on like an airport I wanted to go off of, I actually thought instead of making a whole new airport map, why don't we rework plane and actually basically see if we could park the plane next to the airport and connect it to like, where the plane bridges are that connect like the airport to the plane that you walk on and get on the plane. You could get like, I don't know, 2 or 3 of those connecting the plane to the airport. And then that way you could fix one of plane's biggest flaws is how it's so small. Now, obviously the airport can't be too big, but how about we like sanction off the walls or something, or sanction off parts of the airport like how we did on White House, and see if we could make it, you could get like a check-in where you check in your bags and all that. There could be like a baggage area that has like, I don't know, like 2 stories to where it has like some soft destruction in between the second and the first floor. You could have like a little cafeteria area. There's a lot of stuff you could do with an airport. And then you could have like 2 bomb sites outside the plane and then 2 bomb sites in the plane. And it would make for some really interesting gameplay, I think. Now, coming up next is going to be the map Outpost. Now, this is going to be a small, rural military outpost in the middle of the woods. Now, I'm still deciding if I want this map to be like a night map, or I want it to be a daytime map, or maybe like when the sun's just coming down to where the sunset's happening. But anyways, I think this is going to be pretty cool because it's going to be in the middle of the woods, and there's going to be a couple buildings. There's going to be, the main building is going to be command. It's going to be maybe 2 or 3 stories tall, but then there's going to be buildings like pretty close to command, but surrounding it, and the buildings can be like, I don't know, like an armory or a barracks, and then they're going to be connected to command by underground tunnels, so that way defense can maneuver between buildings pretty easily. Now, there could be like watchtowers that attack can get onto, and that way you could have like a Cali or a Glass sit up on top of these watchtowers, maybe at the beginning of the round, and they could shoot open some windows in the buildings so they could see if they could pick off any defenders. And I think this would be pretty cool because you have 3 separate buildings with command being the biggest, the tallest one. Maybe you can have a bomb site in each building, and then whenever defense needs to rotate, they can always go through the underground tunnels that eventually can get to as well if they overtake one of the buildings. But coming up next is going to be the map Reformatory. Now, this is going to be a prison. I'm still deciding if I want it to be a abandoned prison or like a prison that was like, it still has prisoners there, but it's going to be a prison, and there's going to be like cell blocks. There could be like a mess hall, like a little check-in area where the prisoners come in to get checked in. and there could be like a laundry area or a kitchen, and then these could be like either like bomb sites or just connector rooms. But one thing that needs to be done with this map Reformatory is for it to work in Siege. So what you'd have to do to reduce camping is you'd have to close the majority of the cells, so that way people can't just hide in them. And there would actually need to be some areas in these cell blocks to where like soft breaches or hard breaches could get in, because you don't want it hard for the attacking team to get inside the map. So there'd have to be multiple ways to get into the map. But I think a really cool prison, or maybe like an abandoned prison, that'd be cool, would be a really awesome setting for Siege. Coming up next is going to be the map School. Now this is also a likely place Team Rainbow would have to have an operation on, would be a school. Now I'm thinking this would have to be like a high school, because generally high schools are bigger, and you could have like a first floor and a second floor, and you could have like a cafeteria. You could, of course, you're gonna have classrooms, but you can't have too many rooms, right? It has to be like, maybe some parts of the school, of course, have to be sanctioned off and, you know, closed down, because we can't have like a massive school with so many classrooms to where, you know, attack has to drone out so many rooms. But there can also be like, you know, a musical arts auditorium, and you know, there could be some vertical hatches, and then you can have some soft like ceilings or floors to have some vertical play going on. But I think a school would be a pretty cool addition to Siege. Now coming up next is one of my favorite ones, and this one is called Zoo. Now what I thought of is there could be 3 different areas to this map. So the first area to the map Zoo is it's going to be outside. Now I know what you're thinking. How can Siege have a map that's outside? That'll never work. And this is what I'm thinking. So remember the map Stadium from the Road to SI event? Do you remember those plexiglass or those bulletproof glass panels that were on there where you couldn't shoot through it, but you could see through it? I think for the outside area of the map Zoo, where like, you know, the lions, the bears, you know, the giraffes, all those animals will be, those could be like plexiglassed in, with a couple areas to where attackers can get in and stuff. But I think that'd be pretty cool, because you can see the attackers spawn, and you know, the attackers can see you. They can see what strategies are happening if you have like a bomb site that's in this outside area, but you will not be able to shoot them through the bulletproof glass. Another area to this map, I think, is going to be like an aquarium. I think that'd be really cool. You know, it could be darker, like a big aquarium is shot open, and one of the bomb sites is in this like shot open aquarium, and there's like water all over the place. I think it would be cool. And then another area would be like a reptiles and amphibian area. Again, like a little darker, but you know, a lot of cool reptiles here and there. And Ubisoft would have to find a way to add like 2 stories to it. So maybe like the outside area could be like its own story. And then the aquarium could also be in the first floor, but then like the reptile area could be on the second floor. And I think that'd be pretty cool. Another idea I have is the map Shopping Mall. Now I think Shopping Mall would be pretty cool. It's also another likely area Team Rainbow could actually have an operation on. Now there's so many different things you could do with all the multiple stores you could have at a shopping mall, and they could have totally different layouts as well. Now I want the shopping mall to be either 2 stories or 3 stories, and you could have some vertical play happening with some like destructible floors or destructible ceilings. So Buck would be pretty useful here. Also, I want a decent amount of hatches on this shopping mall map. I want orcs to be pretty strong in this map, and I want a decent amount of hatches. I want it to where orcs can jump up on a hatch and then jump up on another hatch in pretty much the same room to get from the first floor to maybe the 3rd floor, and that would make for some pretty cool gameplay and a nice buff to orcs. Also, I think attackers could get up on the top of the building and go into the ventilation from the roof, but I don't want it to be like how Tower, where if you're on the ventilation in the map Tower that's in the casual playlist, you have like crazy line of sights from like half the map, and it makes rotating for defense really hard. But I think, you know, attackers getting into ventilation would be a pretty cool feature, but there's so many options you can have with a shopping mall, and maybe some escalators too, and I think it'd be a really cool addition. My next map idea I think that'd be pretty cool is going to be Casino. Now Get Flanked actually had a map idea like this that was actually pretty interesting. He said that, you know, you can have like a casino. It's very bright. You know, there's flashy lights all over the place. It looks really cool. You could have 2 floors to it. You know, the top floor can have where all the high rolling games are, with all the tables are and all that, while the bottom floor can have like, you know, like the common ones like slots, or maybe some other tables for like poker and stuff like that. And they could also have like a kitchen or a prep area. Now the top floor, I also think it'd be kind of cool to have like an offices over there where the people owning the casino can count their money and stuff, and then they could store all the money and like all their prizes and all that, and put them in a vault. I think having a little vault to keep the money in this map would be pretty cool, and maybe that could be a decent bomb site. But yeah, you can have multiple bomb sites on this map. I want the map to be very colorful, very bright, and I think a casino would it'll be a really cool addition to Siege. My next map idea I want to have is a movie set. And it's not going to be any movie set. It's going to be a Star Wars movie set with Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, or better known now as Grogu. I want Rainbow Six Siege to team up with Star Wars to make a super cool map, and there would be no better time to do it now with how popular the Mandalorian is. And this is gonna be a movie set. There's gonna be cameras all over the place. There's gonna be lighting equipment. There's gonna be props all over the place. It's gonna look so cool. You could have a sandy area like Tatooine. You could have like a spaceship area that's like black with like, you know, fake stars in the background. You could get up on the Millennium Falcon. Maybe part of it can even be like the Death Star. I'm sorry I'm being so nerdy for Star Wars, but there's so many cool things like for a movie set idea, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Star Wars. It could be like, you know, Avengers or any other movie series that you think would be really cool. But basically what I'm getting at is I want a movie set idea for Siege. And, you know, if we're talking about the Star Wars one again, I want there to be like a lot of lore around. I want there to be like lightsabers and like alien props flying around. And there could be 2 or 3 stories, and you could have like smaller buildings that are sets. And I think a movie set would be a pretty cool addition to Siege. The last map that I want to add here to Siege is going to be Ubisoft Studios. Now, how cool would it be to, if you're having a really bad day at Siege, you're losing a lot, you're dying to smurfs and cheaters, to where you're so angry that you go on the map, Ubisoft Studios, and then you make a really big fucking hole in the wall and you just destroy the place. I think that'd be pretty fun. Now, obviously that'll be silly and it'll never happen, but I think it'd be really cool to have like a really big computer area with computer room. Maybe you could turn that into 2 stories. With some vertical play and some good rotation areas. You can have multiple areas with some cool pieces of lore from Rainbow Six Siege or from other Ubisoft video games, whether it's like For Honor or Assassin's Creed, or you can have like a whole floor dedicated just like, you know, like Siege chibis or, you know, Siege posters and stuff. But yeah, I think a nice little Ubisoft Studios area would be a pretty nice map. Now, let me know what you guys think. Well, I hope you guys liked my map ideas. Obviously, some of these were pretty silly and will never happen, but some of them would be pretty cool to see and make some sense in the Siege universe. Now, do you guys have any ideas for some cool maps? If you do, then make sure to leave them in a comment below and tell me what it is. Now, if you did enjoy the video and think I did a good job making it, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. Now, with all that being said, Chippy out!